Hello, welcome back to the mini-serie Publish Your Own Library. So last week we wrote a bunch of tests. So obviously when you push a modification, you have the responsibility to run your tests on your machine, but that would be good that there would be an automated system running the tests for you, right? So in software engineering, it's called CI/CD, or more simply called automated deployment. So that's the subject for today. A little bit of a disclaimer, so there won't be much Golang code, so that's mainly YAML and deployment ops, DevOps. So apologies for that, but that's quite essential for your software engineering career to understand. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to support the channel, and if you have any questions, leave me a comment and I'll try to reply to you. Happy video! Okay, so we are on the GitHub repo, so we will just use the CI from GitHub called Actions, GitHub Actions, and we will just configure a Go project. So you just click on Configure, and then GitHub is creating a YAML for you. So that's a YAML of a workflow. So here I drew a diagram for you. So every GitHub project can have multiple workflows, and a workflow has multiple jobs, and a job can have multiple steps. So this is how you can automate and define your task for your automation. So we will go through them very slowly, and I'll try to explain what's the different element of a workflow. Okay, so we do have a workflow in front of us, so we can call it Timber. And then here you see on, so that means on which conditions your workflow will run. So here we want the workflow to run when there's a push on the branch main, or if there's a pull request on the branch main. So your CI will run the jobs in its definition when those conditions will be met. So then we move to the jobs section. So remember, a workflow has multiple jobs. So here the job is, there's only one job called build, and the first item we have on line 15 is runs on Ubuntu latest. So this is where your build, your CI will run, execute your code. So you have three options. You have Ubuntu, which is a Linux machine, or you have Mac, Macintosh, or you have Windows. So Ubuntu is the cheapest one, and it's usually, it can build everything, so that's by default. Okay, so then we have the steps. If you remember, a job can have multiple steps, so here we have 4 steps. So the first one is just checking out your code from Git, so it's just a Git command, git checkout. Then the third one is just setting up a package, an action package. So it's a setup Go, and then you have the version of that package. So essentially it's just gonna set up your environment to build like Go binaries, or it's gonna be a Go friendly environment. Then the third step is build step. So it's just building your binaries really. So you have -v, verbose, and then the cryptic /... is just saying that you're gonna build it recursively. And then finally, the last step, the fourth step, is the test step. So you're just doing go step, verbose, and then all the test files that it can find. So that's what we wanted. So it's gonna hopefully launch the test we wrote last week. Okay, so it's quite simple to understand what the CI is doing. So I invite you to read the documentation really strongly. So obviously I'm fast tracking you right now with that video, but it's always good to read about, you see those uses action setup.go to understand that those are packages that you can export, because that will be useful for the next week video. You can create your own. So here I'm just gonna commit that file, and because the trigger is on push to the main branch, we should have a CI build. So you can see that it recognized the Timber as a workflow, and it's queued because it needs like a worker to pick up your build. And you can see that it got picked up, and you can see the execution. So that's the build job, and you can see all the steps that we went through. Then it's running our test, and you can see that hopefully you recognize our test from last week. So the build passed, so that's really good. So yeah, there you can see our nice tree and the test that we labeled last week. So far so good. So the UI is also quite self-explanatory. So you have your workflow, and then you can dive into jobs, and then for each job you can dive into the steps. Okay, so now let's go back to the code base of Timber, and let's introduce a faulty test, and let's see how the CI behaves. So we would expect the CI to fail and stop the workflow, so then you're not progressing to any further operations, meaning that if we are deploying a new version of that library, you shouldn't be allowed to iterate your library version. Okay, so here I just changed an error message, then I'm gonna commit on main, and hopefully the CI will pick it up. So if I refresh the page, you can see that the commit got picked up. It's queued. So if we have a look, it's gonna be building it, and hopefully the test will fail. So there you go, you can see the execution. There you go, test. And there you go, it failed. Error process completed with exit code 1, and you can see that our build got marked as failed. So all working as intended. Alright, hope you enjoyed that fast track on automated deployment. It's not over yet, so stay tuned, and I'll see you next week. Bye, happy coding!